Free agency is alive and well in Kansas City as we have not one but two signings to get things started here on this Monday morning as the Kansas City Chiefs have signed offensive tackle Jaylon Moore to a 2-year, $30 million deal with $21.24 million guaranteed. And they have also signed running back Elijah Mitchell to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. Let's tell you about each of these signings. The news coming from Matt Miller at NFL Draft Scout, breaking the news on Jaylon Moore. We had to go to Threads to find this news as X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it, has been going through some technical difficulties today. But, hey, we're still keeping up to speed as much as we can on these moves. Let's start with Jaylon Moore here. So Jaylon Moore, he has experience as both a tackle and a guard in the National Football League. And Jaylon Moore got his big opportunity this past season with the San Francisco 49ers after Trent Williams was hurt. Started 5 games in place of Trent Williams, and he did a very good job. A 2021 fifth-round pick out of Western Michigan, was picked 155 overall, a second-team All-MAC Conference selection in 2020. And we'll go over the numbers here in just a bit of what Jaylon Moore did in place of Trent Williams, but I was very impressed with the sample size we saw from Jaylon Moore. We'll tell you more about him coming up when we go over his statistics and his analytics and all that momentarily. Meanwhile, Elijah Mitchell, he did not play in 2024. He did play 3 seasons, though, with 21 career games played with 12 starts. Agreed to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with $3.5 million of that money guaranteed. And I'm very curious. I got to tell you, there's clearly of these two signings, one I like more than the other. I love the Jaylon Moore signing as you found what you were looking for at that left tackle position. Hopefully you have found that long-term answer as it's been a revolving door. You guys know it ever since Eric Fisher stepped away. The Elijah Mitchell one is a little bit of a head-scratcher because with him not playing and his production has gone down significantly compared to what it was his rookie campaign, that it was his best season, what are you exactly getting out of Elijah Mitchell? I don't know necessarily. How would you grade these signings here by the Kansas City Chiefs? I'm hesitant. I like the first one. I don't know so much about the second one. If I was just grading the Jaylon Moore signing by itself, I would go with an A. But since we're pairing it with the Elijah Mitchell signing, then I'll give it a lesser grade. I'll tell you what that is in a moment. I want to know from you guys. My grade, I'm going to go with a B-. I think I'm going to go with a B- with these signings here. And here's what I mean by this. Jaylon Moore makes a ton of sense for Kansas City. With the issues you've had at the left tackle spot, you get a young player. You get a guy that has stepped up when his name was called upon and played at an extremely high level. With Elijah Mitchell, I just don't know. That one's a bit of a head-scratcher between these two, so that's why I'm going to go with a B- with that grade there. We are going to continue to follow everything you need to know here with NFL free agency with live coverage in the Kansas City Chiefs Report. We are live actually right now as we speak, so if you're watching this video, when you're done watching this video, go to our live stream for continuing free agency coverage as we're tracking everything going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as the rest of the National Football League with every move as they come in real time. Let's get 20 subs off today's video. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Turn on notifications so you stay up to date with every single move. We got you covered there. Let's tell you more about Jaylon Moore. So here's what I'm talking about as far as the numbers being very good for Jaylon Moore. In 271 snaps, had an overall grade of a 74.9, a pass block grade of a 73.1, and a run block grade of 70.1. So he did everything good last year. Pass blocking, run blocking. And he did so in a clean way. Unlike Jawan Taylor, no penalties called. only allowed 1 sack, only 2 hits, only 7 hurries. If this is the type of production they get out of Jaylon Moore and it has some staying power, then you're doing really good if you're Kansas City, if that is going to continue. But that's still a big if. Meanwhile, with Elijah Mitchell, all right, you go back to the rookie campaign. That was promising. 207 carries, 6 touchdowns, nearly 5 yards a carry, just less than 1,000 yards. He was fantastic. But then what happened? It wasn't good, what we've seen since. 2022, 45 carries, 279 yards, 6.2 yards a carry, just 2 touchdowns. And then the last time we saw him on the football field in 2023, 75 carries, 281 yards, and his average went down from 6.2 to 3.7. And might I add, San Francisco in 2023 went to the Super Bowl, had a fantastic offensive line. Explain that to me. How does your average go down that much from 6.2 to 3.7? That one is a bit of a head-scratcher. What is your one-word reaction to these signings by the Kansas City Chiefs to go with Jaylon Moore and Elijah Mitchell, bringing them both to Kansas City? I'll give you my one-word reaction in just a bit. Weigh in the comments section. Let us know what your one-word reaction is, and I'll give you my one-word reaction on the other side. My one word, I'm going San Fran. You're taking right from the San Francisco 49ers. And, you know, I think it's, when you look at free agency here, all right, it's very telling of the teams that you're taking players from, all right? You want players that have been in winning cultures, that know how to be a part of playing at a high level. Because when you sign guys that play for lesser teams and they join your roster, there is an adapting process of sorts that you have to go through where you have to learn how to win. And bringing these guys from a good organization like San Francisco, and believe me, I don't like the San Francisco 49ers as much as the next guy, but these guys are going to come in already with a good culture, a good mindset, seeing how it's done. Now, they haven't won championships there, but they've been very competitive. And to me, I think that's something that bodes well, especially when you come to an organization like Kansas City that competes for Super Bowls every year, that expects to play at a high level. To me, that's what I love about this, is bringing guys that come from a culture in Kansas City that I love about. Now, you know, I'll say this. That's the thing I love, is the culture that they come from. To me, you can't – that's something that you can teach, but there's a learning curve. This speeds up the learning curve for them coming from San Francisco into this situation for Kansas City here. I think that's a big deal. So now, where does this Kansas City Chiefs team go from here? We said that you had to take care of the offensive line. And now you look at this situation. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes here, that Jaylon Moore is going to be your starting left tackle. And we're going to see Kingsley at left guard, Creed at center, Trey Smith at right guard, and Jawan Taylor at right tackle. Is that offensive line better than the offensive line we saw a season ago? I don't know the answer to that question. And maybe there's going to be more signings in the coming days. Maybe there's going to be some help in the draft, but it's still an unknown at this point. But you can at least feel optimistic about Jaylon Moore here. The running back situation, Elijah Mitchell, if you get the version that you saw of him as a rookie, then you're feeling really good about the player you got. But I don't know if he's still that same player. Coming back after not playing last year, that remains to be seen. But to me, that's my big takeaway, is the culture of where these guys come from. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.